Imagine a man born in poverty. No money, no connections, no powerful family behind him. But he had something most wealthy people spend their entire lives trying to buy: a free mind. His name was Bob Marley. And in one single line, just 7 words, he said something that modern psychology is only now beginning to fully understand. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. 7 words. But those 7 words, they carry the secret to why some people stay stuck forever and why others, with nothing, build everything. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will never think about your own mind the same way again. Let me tell you about 2 people. Same city, same background, same starting point in life. The first person wakes up every morning and thinks, I wasn't born for success. Rich people are lucky. The system is rigged against me. Why even try? The second person wakes up and thinks, I don't have everything yet, but I have a mind, and a mind is enough to start. 10 years later, one of them is still in the same place, the same job, the same complaints, the same life. The other one built something real. Here is the question psychology asks. What was the real difference between them? It wasn't talent, it wasn't opportunity, it wasn't even money. It was the prison they lived in, or the one they refused to accept. Bob Marley called it mental slavery. Psychologists call it a fixed mindset or learned helplessness. The name is different. The cage is the same. And here is what makes this cage so dangerous. You cannot see it, you cannot touch it, but it controls everything you do. Mental slavery is not about chains on your hands. It is about chains on your thoughts. It is the voice in your head that says, people like me don't get rich. I'm not smart enough. Success is for other people. If I try and fail, what will people think? These thoughts don't come from nowhere. They were planted by parents who were afraid, by teachers who gave up on you, by a society that told you your place. And here is the most painful truth. You started believing them. Not because they were true, but because you heard them so many times, they became your voice. Psychologists call this cognitive conditioning. Your brain, after years of hearing the same message, starts to treat it as fact. Bob Marley understood this without a psychology degree. He understood it through living it. He grew up with nothing in Trenchtown, Jamaica. Poverty everywhere, violence around him. A world that said, stay small, stay quiet, stay in your place. But he refused. Not because life was easy, not because someone handed him a chance, but because he made a decision that lives inside that one line. None but ourselves can free our minds. Read that again slowly. None but ourselves. He is not saying, so how does a person actually break free from mental slavery? Modern psychology gives us 3 powerful answers. The first is awareness. You cannot escape a prison you don't know you are in. The very first step to mental freedom is simply noticing, catching yourself in the moment of a limiting thought. When you think, I can't do this, stop. Ask yourself, where did this thought come from? Is it mine, or was it given to me? Most of the time, you will realize it was given to you by someone long ago who was also afraid. That moment of awareness, that pause, is the beginning of freedom. The second is rewriting the story. Our brains are storytelling machines, and the story you tell yourself about who you are becomes who you are. Psychologists call this cognitive reframing. Bob Marley just called it truth. He didn't say, "I am a poor boy from Jamaica with no future." He said, "I carry music and truth that the world needs to hear." Same life, different story. Completely different outcome. What story are you telling about yourself? And more importantly, is that story serving you or destroying you? The third is consistent action, even in fear. Here is something nobody tells you. Mentally free people are...
Now, here is where this gets interesting for your financial life. Study after study in behavioral economics shows the same thing. The biggest barrier to building wealth is not a lack of money. It is a poverty mindset, a mental slavery around money itself. People with a poverty mindset believe money is scarce, so they hold on to it in fear instead of investing it wisely. Rich people are bad, so they unconsciously avoid becoming what they hate. They don't deserve more, so they self-sabotage every time success gets close. These are not logical beliefs. They are emotional chains. And Bob Marley's message cuts right through them. Because mental freedom, real mental freedom, means you can look at money without fear, without guilt, without shame. It means you can say, "I am allowed to want more. I am allowed to build more, and I am allowed to keep what I build." The people who change their financial lives don't start with a better job or a bigger salary. They start with a better story inside their own heads. They emancipate themselves, first from the mental slavery. So here is your question for today. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. What mental chains are you still wearing? What thoughts have you accepted as true that were never yours to begin with? Maybe it is the belief that success is for others. Maybe it is the fear of what people will think. Maybe it is the quiet voice that says, "You are not enough." Bob Marley did not wait for Jamaica to fix itself. He did not wait for poverty to disappear. He did not wait for the world to give him permission. He picked up a guitar. He wrote the truth. He sang it to anyone who would listen. And eventually, the whole world listened. Because a free mind is the most powerful force on earth. Not money, not connections, not luck. A mind that refuses to be enslaved by fear, by limits, by other people's small opinions of who you can become. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds.